Hey, what is going on, y'all? You've got Josh from the Moonlight Adventures, and you've got Mike, my brother from another mother. Mi hermano in the house, the naughty cruiser, the naughty one.
Let's go. Bearded
Yeah.
brothers, the bearded brothers.
Beards unite.
And I was going to surprise everybody tonight with who our guest was, but Josh didn't leave him down in the basement long enough. So,
bro, you
was
made
going to
me
be
forget.
John Heald. John Heald was going to be our guest. The one and only Carnival brand ambassador, John Heald, was going to be the guest tonight. But he couldn't make it because of the time change over in England. So we settled with second best, the one and only Carnival cruise director ambassador, Coach Cruz.
Yes.
I got better teeth than John. I got that going for me. That's about the only thing that I have better than John, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he does have summer teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's English, man, so it is what it is. But
yeah, you're right.
Our guest tonight is the man, the myth, the legend, the large one, the very large one when standing next to me, Coach Cruz. This is a statue of a man here.
Now, how tall are you, Josh?
How tall are you? How tall am I?
Yeah, how tall are you?
I'm 5'8" on a good day.
Oh man, so
and they
Coach,
do stack crap that high.
6'3", 6'4", Coach.
I'm a little under 6'5", so yeah.
I'm 6'2". So he ain't gonna be that much of a mountain next to me, but I mean,
no.
He looks like the mountain standing next to me.
Oh, yeah, man. It's funny how many people I see on a cruise that say you look a lot shorter on YouTube than you do.
Well, it's funny, Coach, because I don't know how tall your wife is, but standing next to you, you don't think she's a very tall lady, but she's close to my height, but she may be my height.
I think she's not as tall as you, but it's around 5'6", 5'7", I think.
Yeah, yeah. So you make her look like a short woman, and she is not.
Yeah, she's well, I mean, she's normal height, I think, for most.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's not like my wife. My wife was she was about at your hip, I think, is where her head was at, and my head was probably about belly button height. So no, I think I was a little taller than that.
So listen, man, it's insane, right? Like you were saying, you run into so many people and they thought you were smaller. So on the vloggers cruise back in January, first person I run into is Jason from EECC Travel, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're a midget, dude. Like I thought you were so much taller. Just from watching the videos, you look like a taller person.
Yeah.
In person, man, dude's like 5'2", 5'3". Like dude's
He's really? He's that short,
yeah,
huh?
He's a short dude, man. He's a short dude. Awesome guy to hang with, have a couple drinks with, have a conversation with. But if you expected him to be like 5'8", 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, nah, man.
I hope you didn't call him
expectations.
I hope you didn't call him a midget. I'm sure he.
No. I was just like, man, you're a lot shorter in person, dude. And he's like, that's the number one comment I get from everybody when I meet them for the first time is like, I could have sworn you were so much taller in person.
Yeah, he does. So like a fun party dude, though. That Jason guy.
Oh, he's definitely a good time. He's definitely a good time and good guy to hang out with, have a conversation with, have a couple drinks with.
So what I lack going this way, I more than make up for going this way.
Well, I guess I'm blessed because I got both. I mean,
I'm a bowling ball, man. But me and Coach Cruz, when we walk up into a bar in downtown Norfolk, nobody's messing with us because I'm like Odd Job. I'm kind of that size, and then he's got the size like what was that guy? Lockjaw, was that his name?
Hey, it's fear that, like they say, fear the beard. Fear the beard.
Right. That's right.
I don't have a beard, but you can fear the bald. Fear the bald, fear the beard.
I was a killer once upon a time. I think I can, I may not be good as I once was, but I'm as good once.
As I ever was. Let's go.
So, hey, man, for those that are tuning in to the podcast for the first time and may or may not, because this is a travel podcast. It's not just about cruising. It's about travel, and it's about getting to know our favorite content creators, and you happen to be one of our favorite content creators. So
Appreciate that.
With that, is
Okay.
there something, just tell us a little bit about you, Coach, and what you're all about and what your channel's all about.
You know what? I think, there's so many cruise content creators out there. We're all one of them, right? But I think that we all draw a certain audience that gravitates toward, our personality or whatever. I'm more of a laid back, I think, personality, but I'm also, like to have fun stuff. I think one of the things that, people are starting to know me for is I always host a bar crawl on every cruise I go on. And some of those bar crawls have been pretty popular and pretty, fun and gained some notoriety and things like that. But I don't know, honestly. I really don't. I just kind of am who I am, and I just kind of tell it how I feel, and I guess whatever my personality is, I think I've been fortunate enough that a few people have liked that, and just kind of have started following the channel and the vlogs I've done and things like that, and obviously my wife Anita has contributed and some of that. And yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. I'm a dog lover, as many people know. We got a new pup now, but back here on my left, I got my Sadie girl. She was a huge part of the show, and a lot of people thought she was the logo, the dog with the sunglasses. They thought that was a picture of her. It actually wasn't. The picture of the dog in the sunglasses is the English bulldog. My Sadie was an American bulldog, and she passed in April, unfortunately. And we just got a new pup named Zoe. She's kind of a mutt, half husky, half pit. But yeah, the Coach Cruise theme is, just kind of having fun. Dog days of summer, but in a fun way. So that's the whole theme there. And yeah, we just try to have fun in a laid back way, enjoy drinking, enjoy eating, and having fun. That's about it.
Yeah, that really shows. It really shows in your vlogs and your videos. I think the authenticity, Nadia and I were talking a little bit about that before we came on, and just keeping it real, not putting on a show or anything like that, just showing your perspective,
Right. And that's the big thing, like with me, like with my channel, like I want to be authentic. I don't want to be somebody people see me in another light. Like, this is me, this is who I am, this is my personality. You're gonna get the raw me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Some people are gonna like it and some people aren't. Certain channels aren't for everybody, and that's the good thing with so many content creators in this space, is there's somebody for everybody.
Yeah.
There's enough YouTube for everyone.
Yeah.
There definitely is. So, Noddy, he mentioned that you are somewhat of the LNO or liaison to Carnival Cruise Directors. And you started off at the top, right? Like you got Cookie and you got Lee. This dude right here, if you want to go fanboy or fangirl over some cruise directors, this is your guy. So tell us a little bit about your relationship, especially it seems like it's closer with Lee than it probably is Cookie, but both of those guys personally. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, Lee, I'll tell you what, Lee is a special individual. And obviously him and I have made a connection and become good friends. But I will say, like, anybody that's like a cruise content creator, whatever. I know I spoke with another cruise creating team, Have Luggage Will Travel, and that they spoke with him briefly, and he took time to come up one evening, and I guess there were several cruise vloggers up there, and he took a little time with each of them, and reached out to each of them, and I've seen him on several startup cruise channels where he has, even on social media, like, it'll show that he liked, a smaller cruise channel or whatever that was just starting out. And honestly, when Lee and I first met, I was much smaller. I don't even know if I'd hit 1,000 subscribers yet. and Lee agreed to do an interview with me. And, you know, I was like, you know, this offers my channel some validity. And, you know, like, I mean, that seemed like big time because, you know, obviously Lee was one of the big cruise directors out there. And the same week that I interviewed him was the same week that he was awarded the Carnival celebration. So I interviewed him the first time on the Carnival Mardi Gras. And we just stayed in touch. And then, you know, he was trying to get his YouTube channel off the ground at Lee, your cruise director. And he was actually asking me for advice on some certain things. And, you know, I was offering him what little advice I could offer him. But he's great with photography and videography. And he really is one of these people that really loves camera work and things like that, and cameras in general, not just video cameras, but actual cameras and just still photography, everything. He's into all of it. He's really into the whole social media thing. So it was kind of an easy connection. And, you know, I mean, we're not like best friends or anything like that, but, you know, we'll message each other every now and then and share some thoughts on our channels or things we've learned and tips and stuff like that. But, yeah, he's just a really cool human being that, you know, I mean, the work that he's done for St. Jude in itself.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's just put so much money and time, and he really believes. He was given the St. Jude Ambassador. I think it was the St. Jude Ambassador.
The Ambassador Award.
Yeah, where he was just recognized as the top Carnival cruise director, you know, as and raising money for St. Jude and things like that. And he's really passionate about that. I mean, he really is. I mean, he really puts a lot of heart and soul into raising as much money for these kids, you know, that so desperately need it. And yeah, he's just, like I say, he's a great human being. As you two gentlemen know, I know he's just recently been engaged to Geraldine. They're absolute beautiful couple, perfect couple. She works for Carnival too. She's in the playlist cast. They're going to be separated for a while. She's going to the Sunrise, and she's going to perform as part of the playlist productions on the Sunrise. And Lee, of course, will be on the Celebration. I was surprised recently in regards to Lee when the cruise director schedule came out to find out he's going to be leaving the Celebration next year. And he's going to be taking over the Carnival of Venezia. I don't know if that surprised you two guys. It sure did me. And I messaged him right away. And I'm like, is this something you wanted, Lee? Because, you know, I mean, the Carnival Celebration was your baby, you know. I mean, that's the ship that you brought out. And he said, yeah, I asked for it. And then when he said that, I'm like, okay, I think I know where this is going. There's
a reason why. There's a reason why.
Yeah. And I think he's hoping that him and Geraldine can
reconnect on the ship, because that was the great thing, right? I met Lee on the Mardi Gras when he was the cruise director of the Mardi Gras. I sat with him 3 times on the Mardi Gras. And then I went over and brought the Celebration back on the transatlantic. So I was with him on the inaugural sailing. So when he raised that $68,000 for St. Jude on that cruise, I was able to capture that moment with him and his mom, sharing that moment with how much they raised and all of that. And it was awesome because he had Geraldine with him on the ship for that when they did the playlist production shows. And it was awesome just being able to see him, not just as a cruise director, but as an individual, as a human being, as a person who is sharing this moment with loved ones and friends and all that. And we've had numerous conversations, and he's one of those people that you can sit down with and just lose track of time and have a straight 4 or 5 hour conversation with and never get bored.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And more recently, you know, something to what you just alluded to there. I had lunch with him in San Juan, and I filmed that entire lunch conversation and stuff. And, you know, that was just a very open conversation. And one of the things that I got from that conversation, I kind of posed a tough question to him. But, you know, everybody knows John Heald obviously is the Carnival ambassador. But I said, Lee, you know, I can't think of a better person that's a cruise director within the Carnival fleet than you that if John says, "Hey, I'm ready to retire, I'm out," I can't think of somebody better to take that position than you. And I don't know if you guys can think of somebody better, but I mean, for somebody that is, representative of the Carnival brand, I mean, he doesn't say anything wrong. He's not controversial.
No.
He's just a great cruise director I mean, he's two-time cruise director of the year back to back. I mean, the work he's done for St. Jude, everything else like that. I don't know how you could find a better person. He's got the same English accent, so that's going to follow right along with John. Better teeth.
2.0.
So, I mean, it'll be an upgrade in that department. And I mean, I feel like when John retires, I mean, assuming that Lee is still with the company and everything, I can't think of a better person to be the ambassador of the Carnival Cruise Lines than Lee Mason.
I'd have to agree 100% across the board. I mean, the dude, like, I don't know. I haven't put this video out there, and I should have did it a long time ago. I was in a celebration when I was still small. I mean, less than 500 subscribers at that point, right? So for him to devote time to me and have conversations and ask questions and answer questions and all that stuff, literally after the group for St. Jude, this man went up onto the track and walked for 8 hours.
Wow.
Because he made a promise. If we raise X amount, I'll walk this many laps. I'll do this many laps. And I would leave and go to a show and come back, and there's Lee with a whole group of people still walking the track. 2 hours later, I'd come back. He's still up walking the track. And the dude is just a humble guy. So for him to take on that position of brand ambassador, he would be perfect. That role would be absolutely amazing to have him in.
Yeah, I mean, what more would you want out of someone representing your brand, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a great dude, and I was a little, so, to be, full disclosure here, Coach Cruz had invited me into one of his chats, and I looked through and I was like, hey, wait a minute, Lee's in here. So I was like a little bit taken aback, and I was like, whoa, okay, I got to be careful what I say here, because we've got some star power, and I was just a little bit like, I don't know, it's like starstruck moment. The only other cruise director I really talked to was Ryan Rose. Of course, he's not, he's not with the company anymore, but I'd like to see him come back somewhere as cruise director, because he's fantastic as well. But
yeah, I mean, you fall in and you get in line, right, with certain cruise directors that you like. Have any of you, other than, well, probably not, because Coach Cruz has probably been the only one other than me that's sad with her, but Kendall Fire. Like, we're talking a young girl, a lot of fire, a lot of spark, a lot of energy, was just announced as the Jubilee cruise director. What's your thoughts on that? Like, I mean, this is a Texas girl born and bred taking over a ship that's going to be home porting out of Galveston.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this.
It's a good move. It's a good move.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I absolutely love her ambition, and she's like one of these women or men, that, they set goals, and, they just go after it with all the, with all the fight and energy that they can muster to make it happen. And I remember, and, I mean, I was so excited to get back to cruising, and she was on the Carnival Vista, bringing out one of the first ships back to cruising after COVID. And I was so excited that I booked my first back 3 weeks on the Carnival Vista, and that whole time with Kendall Fire. And I was just absolutely amazed at how personable she was. And that's the one thing I find in great cruise directors is they're everywhere. Like, I joke with Lee all the time about how, he must clone himself, because, I mean, it seems like he's everywhere. Like, how, with a ship with 6,000 people, how can you be here and I see you over there and then I see you there, and he just always finds a way. And I remember vividly. I was with a buddy of mine on the first week of that 3-week cruise, and the latter 2 weeks with my wife. But that first week, I'm with a buddy, and we're in line at Java Cafe. I don't know, I guess we were getting a coffee. It seemed later in the evening. I don't know what we were in line at Java Cafe for, but Kendall was walking by with a couple members of the Fun Squad, and she kind of looked over, and we were actually already behind her. She had already like passed us, and she stopped, and she turned around. And I mean, this is when Coach Cruz is just getting started. I mean, Coach Cruz was July 2nd, 2021 is when our first video came out for Coach Cruz. So I mean, this was the same month Coach Cruz came out, so she could give two hoots about who Coach Cruz, the Coach Cruz channel. It was like probably 50 subscribers at that point, if that. But she turned around and came back, and she talked to us. It wasn't long. It was like a minute. I couldn't even tell you what she said. But the fact that she turned around, she noticed that we looked over, and she took the time to make that short little conversation, that short little interaction. And that's what the great ones do. When I did the behind the scenes with Cookie, like if you watch those videos, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he just, the short little 5-second interactions, sometimes 10-second interactions, sometimes it'll be a short little conversation, but he makes you feel important. She makes you feel important. Lee makes you feel important. They make you feel like, you are really a valued cruiser, for Carnival Cruise Lines. And the Carnival cruise directors that can do that and really make you feel like something extra special, even if it's only a 10-second interaction or a 5-second, or even if it's a 2 or 3 second interaction. I mean, it's volumes for people. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
And all three of those cruise directors, all three, hit it out of the park when it comes to that personal interaction. And that's what makes them the best. That's what makes them the best, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know about, you guys, but
no, I can tell you, being a fan of other cruise lines and not being super Carnival loyal, I guess, for lack of a better term, I'm not an anti-Carnival guy at all. We've sailed Carnival more than any other cruise line, but when you go to another cruise line, the one thing that none of them do better is the cruise director experience, and that cruise director really making you feel like, I mean, every time that they come up and talk to you, and even if it's the assistant cruise director, you feel like you're the only person that matters at that point in time.
Yeah.
And, they really do make you feel like they appreciate your dollar and what you're doing for them, and them being able to do what they do. And, I always appreciate that about Carnival. That cruise director interaction that's very personal is something different than any other cruise line.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, there's some other greats too. Like they're like the big three, right? I mean, LO Joey, he's awesome. I mean, it's Kendall's fiance. He's getting trained by one of the best in the business. So of course he's going to be good at what he does. But what about your smaller ship cruise directors, the ones that you really don't know too much about or haven't seen too much about? Have you had great experiences with those, or are you on the fence with some of those smaller ship cruise directors?
Well, I you know what? I can go to both sides of the spectrum on that, and that's a great question, because I just came off the Magic, and that was a lesser experience, I guess you could say, in terms of the cruise director. And then I did cruise with LO Joey on the Magic, and that was a better cruise experience. But I'll tell you a smaller cruise director that's up and coming that I cruised with on the Breeze. I was very, very impressed. He actually worked under Kendall Fire. That's one of the people he worked under, but that is Lawrence. I don't know if you've heard the name Lawrence, but Lawrence was a very good cruise director, new cruise director that did, a great job, really interacting. Now, I mean, might get in trouble for this, but I don't work for Carnival, so it's just my opinion or whatever. But this guy, Dustin, on the Magic, I'm going to tell you, highly disappointed. And I'll tell you,
I've ran into that on some smaller ships, man. But if it was throughout the whole cruise, that's not, I mean, if it's the first day or two, I completely get it, but
yeah.
throughout your whole voyage. That's a little
Well,
tough.
here's the thing. I mean, the thing that struck me about Dustin was it's like, I'm going to do my job and then that's what I'm going to do. And the just doing my job part, he was fine at. It's that extra stuff, like those personal connections, things like that. And I'll tell you the interaction that I had with them, and that I didn't want anything to do with them after this. One of the first couple of days of the cruise, I went up to him and, I've done several interviews with, cruise directors and things like that. I mean, some of the best, obviously. And I said, look, it seems to me, a lot of people do interviews with cruise directors. I want to get away from that. I like doing kind of like my behind the scenes where I kind of like, I'm just on your shoulder. And really anybody could do this. Anybody could do this. Like, you don't have to get special permission from Carnival or anything like that to do some of the stuff that I've done with like Lee and Cookie, although they do, when you get the extra permission, you get a few extra bells and whistles. I get it. But I went up to this Dustin and I said, hey, I messaged you, I contacted, the people that need to be in the know, whatever. I'd like to spend a day with you. You pick a day where you have a lot going on or whatever, and I'll just kind of be on your shoulder. And, basically when you're done with the event, say, hey, I'm headed off to such and such a place next to do this event, or, whatever. The same stuff you saw me do with like Lee Mason or Cookie or anything like that. And his response was, oh, I don't really do social media. That's not my thing. That, the other guys, they do that stuff. I don't really mess around with that. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm just all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna be, like I say, I'm just gonna be on your shoulder, and if you, when you go from an event or you finish an event, say, hey, hey, next up, I'm headed down to such and such a place, and we're gonna do this, or we're headed back to the Lido deck to do this, or whatever. And that's really about it. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not sure. I mean, if you want to show up and film it or whatever, that's fine. But I don't know if I want to. And I'm like, you know what? It's cool. Don't worry about it. I won't bother with you. And I was just done. I was just like, I'm trying to help promote you. I'm trying to help promote you as a cruise director, show how fun you are and how much, you bring to Carnival and everything else. And in addition to that, I'm promoting Carnival. And you're just kind of like blowing me off, like, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, all good, dude. No
Yeah,
worries.
I think Dustin needs to go back to the studios a little bit and learn how to have them people person skills, man. Like, that's the big role of a cruise director, right? Is having those people person skills. If you don't have those skills, then that's really not the position for you. But I like the idea of the behind the scenes, over the shoulder, just following them around like a lost puppy dog throughout the day, because it's giving you like that day in the life of a cruise director, right? And I know there's people out there that don't care nonetheless who the cruise director is. I know there's people that are excited to know what cruise director is. There's people that book certain cruises for specific cruise directors. So with that being the case, Dustin isn't that person for you, right? So you're just at that point, what are you gonna do? You're just like, all right, dude, I'm aggravated, don't want to talk to you, and I'm out. Like,
yeah.
Would you end the conversation just pretty much like tell him, all right, blow it out your, you know what, and like this was your one shot?
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but I mean, he did fine. Like, he did Love and Marriage, and I thought he was fine at that. He had some canned jokes that, I'd heard several other cruise directors use. There was nothing original about him. And then that's the thing. That's the thing is when you're negative and you're not embracing, and being personable and stuff like that. That's the thing. Like, automatically people are like, okay, well, what else is wrong about you? And then all of a sudden I start looking for those things rather than what's good about this guy. Now it's flip. now it's like, what else is bad about this guy? Because you've already turned me off, so what else is bad about you? Well, I found another thing, went to the Rock and Glow party. I kid you not. This is no exaggeration whatsoever. I got up to the Rock and Glow thing late, like 10 minutes late or whatever. And he was doing the Michael Jackson Thriller dance. He was going to teach everybody on the dance floor or whatever how to do the Rock and Glow, and keep in mind, it's rock, and glow. Michael Jackson is a pop star and the greatest of all time pop star, but he's a pop star, not a rock star. He proceeded to teach this Thriller dance, the entire Rock and Glow deck party. Like, after 45 minutes of him doing
oh my gosh.
I kid you not.
So bad.
After like 7-8 tries, they'd start the music and then they'd do a little bit and little swim and big swim and do it and okay and then step and step. And then at one point he parted the group and he's like, all of you lay on the floor, just lay on this deck, and he was seriously trying to get people to lay on the Lido deck.
Oh,
and
my
then
Lord.
all get up and act like zombies now. And then like half the people are like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, but I bet you there was a group of people that willingly laid down on that Lido deck because they're probably closing in on 14 or 15 of that drink package.
Yeah.
We're talking about Thriller for 45 minutes. I'd have cleared a whole Cheers package out in 45 minutes of Thriller dancing.
And to be fair, there were obviously some people there that enjoyed it and were having fun. So I don't want to be completely like, oh yeah.
You really don't want to be negative Nancy and rain on other people's parades. But I mean, come on, man. 45 minutes of teaching people Thriller at a Rock and Glow party. Like it's
what you do in the middle of the day, right? That's like your middle of the day dance lesson. That's
honest to God. I mean, and honestly, I just had to leave. I said, okay, I know I'm filming and I'm trying to make a video for a vlog and everything, but I can't even take it anymore. I'm like, I'm out. It's time to go to the Alchemy bar. So I hope that the last 10 minutes or something, he got some kind of rock to add to the Thriller deck party, but I mean, that's all he did. It's like, dude, it's called the Rock and Glow party. Like, I've seen people put the Michael Jackson Thriller thing, I've seen cruise directors, I've seen Lee's done it, but you spend about 10 minutes on it. You don't spend the entire Rock and Glow party teaching people how to do the Thriller deck, dance or what. I don't know.
I mean, that's one of the major events after, on the Lido. Yeah. After Sail Away, the Rock and Glow.
Yeah, and people are looking forward to that 80s. And Josh was on my show, and I asked the question today. So what would you rather go to? And I gave the choice: White Night, Neon Night, 20s theme, 80s theme, and 80s won in a landslide. It won in a landslide. People wanted, that 80s, the 80s rock in particular.
That's it. I mean, the 80s, the 70s, and the 80s were like two of the best music 10-year genres you could possibly get, right? So
especially in the rock
like era. You're not going to get much better than that. Yeah. I get it. Everybody wants to do all these different parties, silent disco and all that stuff. I'm gonna tell you right now, silent disco is cool, but it's not something I'm going to spend an hour at. I'd rather go to a Rock and Glow party. I don't want to look around and other people listening to different songs and all dancing like fools. I mean, for all that, give me Dustin and 45 minutes of Thriller on the Lido at the Rock and Glow party. I mean, it's the same concept, right? So, but for the 80s theme, for all of us people that have cruised Carnival so many times and had that Rock and Glow party, it's literally rock music, glowing glow sticks, neon bright outfits, 80s style hairdos. Like, that's the way people show up to Rock and Glow.
People show up. Yeah.
That's the way Gunnar Wayne would show up to a Rock and Glow party. Could you imagine Gunnar Wayne at a Thriller dance? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
So Gunnar blew it. So he heard some Bon Jovi playing and he rushed the Lido deck and like burn out all his gas. And then that same night they had the Rock and Glow party and he totally missed it. and his fan base was very upset on board the Magic that he didn't show up.
Well, yeah, and you always got to get for the '80s. You got to get that headbanger, in there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got to get a little headbanger going in there, and
they start playing "Pour Some Sugar on Me." You got to just get in there, man.
That's it. You got to pull. You got to pull the Landon Moon. You got to count the fingers down, and you just got to rock, man. That's the way to do it.
That's right. We're raising him right.
that lesser cruise director, like I said, that up and coming one, Lawrence was a younger guy or whatever, but he did a great rock and glow party, and I actually filmed that, and it was well reviewed, like the number of views, because he incorporated everything, like all the stuff that we're talking about right now with the rock and everything. And I think he might have even thrown in a Michael Jackson or whatever, but he just combined like so many different 80s songs and the rock songs and pop. I mean, it was great. And he even did the one thing where he split the audience, and what was it, what's the
Dirty Dancing?
Yeah, where he ran down the thing, and he had some guys, he dressed up and he had some little short shorts or whatever. And there was 2 or 3 guys that like caught him and picked him up and like spun him around or whatever, and everybody just got a big kick out of it. And then
so the reason I asked you that question is because I've had that experience on a smaller ship. I've sailed out of Tampa on the Paradise. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tampa is a small terminal. You got to go out on a smaller ship because you go under the Skyway Bridge. So you really can't have the bigger ships. This is a smaller ship. It's one of their older ships. Still a phenomenal ship. But I had Todd Evans as the cruise director.
Okay.
And he was phenomenal. The way he would address you with your morning messages throughout the day, the rock and glow party, all of that. And I remember leaving that cruise and telling him, you deserve a bigger ship. Like, you deserve a ship that goes out of Miami or goes out of Port Canaveral. You deserve a bigger ship. Your talents are being wasted over here on this Gulf Coast side of Florida. I love having you over here because it's only 40 minutes from the house, but you deserve a bigger ship.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think when we were on the Spirit, we had Simon, who's not a cruise director anymore with Carnival, at least as far as I can tell.
I think he still is. I think
he's
overseas though.
Okay.
I keep seeing him in feeds and stuff. I think he was doing Australia or somewhere like that. He was working with Entertainer Charlie, and
now I like Entertainer Charlie. She's awesome.
Yeah.
But Simon, I don't know. He annoyed me for some reason. He wasn't bad, but it wasn't as fun a ship, I guess. I don't know. May have had different experiences, but the guy we had on the Valor, I really can't remember his name, but he was solid. He was a South African gentleman, and he was really good. That was our first cruise, and it was a good initiation to cruising. Had a good cruise director.
Yeah, Simon's on the Dream until the 3rd, so he'll be getting ready to get off the Dream.
Mm-hmm. So hey, Brad. So both Naughty and I, in about 58 or some odd days, we're going to be sailing on the Carnival Glory on the Booze Cruise group cruise.
Is that out of New Orleans?
That is out of New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah. And I am a rookie at pub crawling. Now, I have a pretty good idea on how I'm going to set this thing up, but are there any tips that you can give a rookie pub crawler? Because you got it figured out, my friend.
Oh yeah. So it's pretty easy. And I get this question asked a lot. A lot of people message me about this. So, I mean, the first thing you got to do is, on your Facebook group, and that's one of the first top suggestions I give to any new cruisers, is find your Facebook cruise group. I don't care what cruise line you're going on. If you type in the date of your cruise and the name of your cruise ship, inevitably, almost every time you're going to have a cruise page pop up that's specific to that cruise. And if you do that, you're going to go into events and you're going to find a number of different events. like a pub crawl, for example, that you might want, like, oh, hey, I'd love to be a part of a pub crawl or bar crawl, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, you join in there. So once you start up a pub crawl or bar crawl event on your Facebook page, Facebook cruise page, that is, you create that event, then, the whole point there is getting as many people that you might think might be interested in that as possible. After you do that, once you get on the ship, it's pretty easy. You go to guest services and you want to request to speak with the beverage manager. The guest services will say, what do you want to talk to this person for? And well, I have a bar crawl, and right now we have 52 people signed up that want to be part of this bar crawl. And, I was hoping to speak to them about the route that we're going to take on this bar crawl, and hopefully get a couple senior bartenders that might travel with us along, the bar crawl, so the bars aren't overwhelmed when we go to each of these bars, which can often happen. Yeah. I would say 4 out of every 5 times you're going to come across a very cool beverage manager that is going to understand, that you need this, and they don't want their bars to be overwhelmed, so they're going to provide you with a couple senior bartenders, and they're going to travel with you, and they're going to go from bar to bar. And usually what happens is, you get to say the second bar or whatever, and the senior bartenders will get whatever suggested drink that you might have at that particular bar. And then once all the patrons are served, they say, hey, okay, what's the next bar going to be? And you tell them what it is and what's the drink there. Oh, it's this. Okay. And they immediately go up and they start making a number of those drinks. Now, what I tell all my bar crawlers is it's a suggested drink. So if we have 50 bar crawlers, I'll usually tell the senior bartenders, hey, make say 30 of the suggested drink. And even if there's more than 30 people that take the suggested drink, it won't take you that long to make another 15 or whatever. But they can make a whole bunch at once. So then when the rush comes, they already have all these drinks ready. It says, here you go, here you go, here you go. Swipe the cards, whatever. And it goes pretty quickly. And then, if there's 8 more or 10 more or 12 more, they can make those up pretty quick, and then they're done. And that's the best thing, is to pick out a drink. I would say don't pick anything out too sweet, something in the middle, just a little bit sweet. You don't want to do it too sweet, because if it's too sweet, that's going to turn some people off. But I mean, there's no perfect drink at every bar. There's going to be several people that say, oh, I love this drink. And then you'll get a few people like, oh, I didn't really like that at all, but most people are willing to try it, which is cool, because most people have Cheers or some drink package when they go on these bar crawls. And that's it. I mean, it's
so tell us a little bit about the game you played on your latest bar crawl.
Well, I wish I could take credit for that. But for those of you that are not already subscribed to Coach Cruz, if you go into and you subscribe to my channel and you go into my video library, you don't have to scroll down too far, and you're going to find about half a dozen women in a very peculiar position.
Precarious is the word you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a better word. But yeah, they're in an awkward position, I guess you could say. And the guys have their hand on their head, and they're kind of in between their legs. And that was the thumbnail of the video, which created a little bit of controversy. But I assure you, there was no shenanigans going on. What they were doing is they were sucking on a beer through a straw. It might not have looked like that's what was happening, but that's what was happening. Okay, so it looked like something a lot dirtier than that, but it really wasn't. So yeah, the whole it's called Suck My Beer. And And you know what? To be fair, if you watch the whole video, the guys had to go down on their knees and suck my beer from the ladies in between
as
their
it
legs.
should be. As it should be.
I'm about to say, as long as it's the ladies, I'll partake. But if it's another dude, I'm out of that game, bro. Tapping that. That ain't happening, bro.
Well, I mean, in that particular contest, it was very heterosexual. I wasn't saying that it had to be that way, but it ended up being that way.
It turned out. Yeah.
Yep. So,
So, hey, Naughty, I got you. I'll be your partner.
I mean, listen, bro, you can be the one that sucks my beer. I'll stand there. I mean, that's not gay, right?
So here's another one.
Slip $20 in my pocket. I don't know, bro. $20 is $20. I mean,
$20 is $20. No, I don't think Chas would allow that. I think, she might get jealous of you.
Oh man.
I mean, you're a good looking man and all, but
I don't need a jealous wife, bro.
So tell me which one is worse. Tell me which one is worse, the suck my beer or this next one that I didn't do. I didn't do this one. So the beverage manager had actually hosted several bar crawls, and he told me about the suck my beer, and I'm like, that's awesome. We're going to do that. But he also told me about this find my hole.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not playing that. No. No, we ain't finding no hole over here, bro.
Well, let me tell you how it works. So you take, I guess, what the way he suggested it to me at least is a toilet paper roll, or a paper towel roll. What you do is you take one of those and the guy will put that between his legs, and then you give the girl a stick, but you blindfold her, and then you tell them to go, and so they have to find the hole with the stick. So the toilet paper ring or whatever is in between your legs, just below your privates. And they have a stick, and they have to get it between the hole to win the game.
Oh boy.
Now listen, you're blindfolded, right?
Oh, the ladies are blindfolded.
Okay. I mean, I could see Kurt
and they have to find the
like
hole.
that. When Kurt's like on Marsha's bad side, Marsha can be like, yeah, I found the hole. But yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like, I'm all for games, right? So like Quest is a big thing. I got no problem jumping up and volunteering for Quest and playing the adults only Quest. But I don't know if I could trust a drunk blindfolded girl with a stick around my junk. Like, I just don't think I could do it.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, listen, scary. I'm not working with much as it is. I don't want you to take any of it off. Like,
I guess it depends on how big the stick is, right?
Hey, I'll tell you what, a larger stick in that case, you get a small stick, man, you get a little pokey down there. You may puncture something if you're not careful.
That's it, man. I'm gonna bleed to death in the middle of the ocean.
Oh man, so I don't know what kind of debauchery is going to go on during the pub crawl. What I do know, and I still owe Naughty the pub crawl map, but we're going to try to end at the piano bar because I think that would be cool. You cap it off, you get the piano bar, everybody's sauced up, and
and the piano bar is going to be a great time, man.
You got to
the guy that's going to be on there is a buddy of mine.
You got to do the suck my beer thing.
Sorry,
you got to do the suck my beer thing.
Oh, Brad, you're losing internet. What happened?
I said you guys got to do the suck my beer thing.
Can you hear him, Josh? I don't know what he's saying. He's going in and out.
In and out. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to get permission from Chastity to suck another man's beer, but
why does it have to be another man?
Well,
I mean, you can do it to Chastity, right? Like you can do it to Chastity and not have
I'll suck Chastity's beer. I'll suck your beer.
We'll get Kurt to do me.
You'll suck my beer. She'll suck my beer.
Exactly.
That's bananas, bro.
That's a beautiful thing.
How do you play the game suck my beer and your beer's the only one getting sucked throughout the whole ship? That is not fair. This is like 6th grade all over again, bro. Like, get out of here.
It's just bananas.
I think that would gain a lot of subscribers if Chastity sucked your beer and you sucked Chastity's beer, I think there would be a lot of views and a lot of subscribers, and for the Naughty Cruiser as well. I think if the Naughty Cruiser got naughty on the pub crawl, I think that would gain a lot of subscribers and a lot of views at the same time.
I mean, listen, we could
right.
have a Suck My Beer train. I mean, we can all line up and just
do the caterpillar.
You know what I mean?
Rig something up with the straws. That's like we used to have these water troughs. When we were playing football, you probably remember these, Coach.
Yeah, they used to have the just drain lines.
Yeah, everybody just kind of line up and just. No, we'll definitely have some fun. I wish we had one of those skis, or if they had a ski, the shot ski. You put like 6 shot glasses or 4, whatever it is, and everybody. That would be kind of cool if everybody lined up and did that. But
yeah, and like you were saying in the beginning, Coach, like with getting into the group page. So this group we have in October it's a group cruise that we're going on. It's called the Boost Cruise. So we have our own Facebook group page that we're doing this events in. And Josh is asking because I'm creating the events page that people can print out and have a list of all the events and the times and all the places. And he's the only one I'm waiting on.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on. It's all up here. I just need to put it down on paper. But yeah, Chastity and I, we've got to sit down and map that out because she's going to help me out, obviously. And it's going to be a lot of fun, though. Pretty excited, a little anxious because I've never done one before. But
so you are going to host a bar crawl then?
Yes, yeah. I'm the Booze Cruise pub crawl coordinator. So yeah. I think
so. You got to do that Suck My Beer thing. That is hilarious.
So at what point in the pub crawl did you do that, Coach?
Stop number one.
At what point did you do that? Toward the end, in the middle?
We were at like the second to last bar. I think the Red Frog was the second. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do it early. I would say like the 4th bar on, it'd be a good spot. And the other thing is, people have to be willing to participate. So you got to have a little prize for the winner. Like my prize, I had thankfully Carnival's entertainment director provided me with a couple ships on a stick. So I had a ship on a stick to give the female winner and a ship on a stick to give the male winner. But that's another thing I could tell you to do is you let them know, ask to speak to the entertainment director as well and say, hey, we got this group of 50 people that are going to go on this bar crawl, pub crawl, whatever. And they'll set you up probably with some medals or a couple ships on a stick, whatever. And,
yeah, I got some things in the works already with the ED and Jackpot Jake, because Jackpot Jake's going to be the cruise director. So we got a couple things lined up already. So that'll be cool. Right now, you still get told there's like a shortage on the ships on the sticks, but if you get through the right loops, you'll be able to make it happen.
So we talked a whole lot about cruising, but one thing that we didn't talk about. So what's in the name Coach Cruise? I know a little more, but the people may not know. So how did you come up with Coach Cruise? What's the background on that?
Well, so the coach part of Coach Cruise, for example, today I got home my show started at 7:00 Central. I got home at about 10 after 6 Central. And that's because I was coaching girls flag football. I played college football myself in high school. I mean, in high school and college. I played college football in college, believe it or not. So when I I actually coached some graduate assistant college football as well at a small college, River Forest, Illinois. And then I coached high school boys football for a while. Then at the time, the school I'm at, the athletic director said, hey, the head boys basketball coach job just opened up. And I played boys basketball in high school. That wasn't my number 1 sport. It was my number 2 sport. But he said, hey, do you want it? And I'm like, yeah. So boys basketball, the football and basketball overlap too much, so I had to dedicate myself strictly to boys basketball. For this is going to be my 22nd year coming up now as the varsity boys head basketball coach at the school I'm at, and girls flag football. This is my 3rd year, but the season ends early enough that it doesn't overlap with basketball. So I'm enjoying coaching football again with the young ladies, and they're a lot of fun. And you know, in many ways, they're much more fun than the boys because they're more coachable, and you know, they pay attention more. And you know, just seeing a young lady, you know, make a big catch or get a big tackle or a big sack or something like, or score a touchdown or whatever, and their excitement and their like passion or whatever, it is, I don't know, it's just magnified compared to the boys. I don't know, it's because I've been coaching boys for so long, but when I see their reaction and how happy they get and everything, it just like it's just awesome. So I've enjoyed coaching girls quite a bit. And the cruise part obviously is for cruising. So it's combining two passions together, coaching and cruising. Many people think it's coach, oh, you're coaching about cruising, which is true too, but that's where the whole thing came from.
So you teach as well?
Yeah, I'm the PE department chair at the high school.
Okay. Very cool. Yep. Very cool. So yeah, in Chicago area.
Yep. The very city.
Cubs or White Sox?
Oh, I'm Cubs, die hard. As a matter of fact, we got to find out if the Cubs beat the Brewers tonight. Let me check.
Go Braves.
Go Phils.
Bottom of the eighth. The Cubs are still winning 1-0. Hopefully they hold on.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous you live out there in Chicago. You got some great food. You got some good pizza out there. Now,
oh my God.
Portillo's, man. Portillo's.
Yeah, being in Florida, bro, like I'm not gonna lie, Portillo's is now here in Florida. So every chance I get to get Portillo's, I'm getting the Italian beef, baby.
Yeah, baby.
You all got a Portillo's in Florida now?
Oh, then we got like 3 of them, man. Within like 30 minutes of my house, I got 3 Portillo's. I got one like 10 minutes from my job. I got one about 30 minutes from my job, and then we got one in Orlando.
Everybody, we talked about Carnival stock. You all buy some. When you go buy your Carnival stock, go buy some Portillo's stock too. You can get Portillo's right now for like $18 a share. Really? Go get yourself some Portillo's stock because Portillo's is going to keep popping up all over the nation. You get yourself a big beef with some hot Chardonnay. And,
man, it's so good. And
you gotta get that chocolate shake, the chocolate cake shake
or whatever. Yeah.
Oh. They asked me at mine if I want mine dipped, and I'm like, man, there's a bear crab in the woods. You better dunk that whole wing boy in that juicy sauce. It comes out. My beard's glistening. I'm driving a truck, and I can smell it all in my beard until I get home to wash it out. And I'm like, man, I should have bought 2 of those puppies.
I go to the one. I can't remember what part of Chicago. It has to be close to Rolling Meadows, but they've got a Capone like sitting in a bathtub making moonshine, kind of like ensemble up above, and so it's really cool spot. Yeah, I'm a Portillo's junkie, and I do like deep dish pizza. I mean, come on,
yeah. Well, yeah, deep dish pizza is great. I'll tell you the worst part about Portillo's for me. I drive past it literally every day on the way home from work. I have to be tortured by going past Portillo's and not pulling in, which is understandably why it's been harder for me to lose weight this year, is because like every time you have that craving and you go buy Portillo's all the time,
you put 10 pounds back on. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, dude. I mean, it's like, give me a big beef with hot peppers, a fry, chopped salad. How do you try their chopped salad? It's like even people that don't like salad, even if you don't like salad, you will like their chopped salad because it's got chicken, pasta and bacon. It's got all this stuff in it. It is so good. So
if I only get one shot at it every so often, it's going to be the big beef. It's going to be the hot beef sandwich, man.
The kibasi is good too. Like the kibasi with the yellow mustard and onions, the kibasi griller they got, that's good too. But That big beef is where it's all at, bro.
Oh,
Get
man.
that bad boy dunked. It gets all nice and soggy and wet. Oh,
See, I like mine dry, but I mean,
but
it's
see,
cool
I mean,
if you like it
you've
wet.
been eating it a lot. You know what I mean? Like you're eating this a lot. This is something you get all the time. This is something that's still new to people like me down here in Florida. So I want it wet. I want it hot. I'll eat it cold. It could drop on the floor. I'm going to pick it up and put it back on the bun because it's that good.
It's so wonderful. And like there's another spot up there. I can't remember the name of this restaurant, but they do a hot beef sandwich with an Italian sausage in the middle, and they wrap the beef around it.
Well, Portillo's will do that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's pretty common. Yeah, that's like the combo beef.
Oh, that's a heart attack right there. That's what that is.
Yeah. Oh,
it's so good though, man. If I die with a hot beef in my hand, I'll die a happy man.
Yeah, that's true. That's like those people that are on death row when they're asking for their last meal. You know what? I mean, they're probably just as well off with like a hot beef sandwich, the hot peppers, some
if I ever find myself on death row, you think I'm going to care about what I'm eating? I'm getting as many calories as I can in on that day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hey, listen, if I find myself on death row, I'm going to eat as much as I possibly can and try and kill myself off before I get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no good options on the old death row there. There's none of them that I would care to take part in.
Yeah,
I'd rather have a heart attack. I think.
Do you think? You know what? Like, if you were now I'm going down a different road here that we probably don't.
That's what this show's about, man. That's fine.
But if you were on death row, do you think you could enjoy your last meal, knowing that it was your last meal? Like,
no, bro, because the first thing that's going to go in my brain is my food is not even going to be digested in my stomach before I'm dead.
So you're not going to enjoy it. That's what I'm saying. The whole point about the last meal is that like you have a last thing that you really enjoy, that you really savor, like, oh man, this was so good, you know, and then you go out, you know that. But
I'll enjoy my last words. I'll enjoy them more than I enjoy the last meal.
Well, and depending on, like we're going to eat some big boy stuff, right? So we eat that big boy stuff, and then you're up there, and as your last breaths are going out and your bodily functions lose control, you probably let this big belch and fart out, right there in front of God and everybody. Is that really how you want to go out?
Listen, bro, I love you and I love my religion, but if you're on death row, unless you made peace with the Lord, I don't think you're going to be doing it in front of God.
Oh, no, you got some heat coming. You got some heat coming your way for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then as far as all the people, they're behind the glass and everything. They're probably not smelling you or anything anyway.
No, but the glass could get fogged up and green for sure. They're like, oh man, the Green Lantern's coming in here. No, he just farted. He crapped himself.
The guy that turned the switches that killed you or whatever, he smelled it, but he probably deserves it for killing you anyway. So it's fine.
Oh man, that's a messy business, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, listen, like that brings up another question, right? Like I know you're trying to close out, but like the people that push the plunger in on the needle, the people that flip the switch, are they ultimately murderers? Like, there's the age-old question, right? Like, you're taking a life for a life is how it is, right? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If you live by that lifestyle, you're ultimately taking somebody's life, right?
I mean, it's an ethics question, right? I mean, like, I'm sure there's a case study for that somewhere at some college.
I'm going to have to find that on YouTube.
And how much do you get? I'm sure that dude's like making an hourly wage. He's not like a salaried employee.
Oh, he's making bank.
Oh my God.
You think he's making bank?
Whoever that is, they better be making a hell of a lot more than.
I would assume they'd have to make bank because like the trauma you would take home with you, right? Like,
oh yeah.
You got to be paid good compensation to be that job title, to have that job title.
Well, and the lethal injection folks, they're probably like trained
doctors and trained phlebotomimists or something. Yeah. I mean, the guy that just flips the switch, that's Uncle Fester. I mean, he's just throw the power.
This is a perfect way to end a cruise vlogging segment, is talking about death row and lethal injection. Nothing to do about cruising whatsoever, but somehow we found our way here.
We're going to end it with something that's a little different, right? So this is the age-old question here. Not really an age-old question because it's relatively new. Did y'all see what happened on the Viva? Like, have y'all seen the vlog? Like, this dude and wife were fighting on the balcony, and the dude literally tried tossing her off the balcony. There was a 20-some-year-old young kid climbed over his balcony, pinned the guy down on the balcony until security was able to get there.
Dang.
Ultimately arrested the guy. This just happened. Just happened. And no, it wasn't the Viva. I'm wrong. It was on MSC. Happened on MSC.
Wow.
That's
within the
crazy.
last couple days.
What? How old was the guy and the girl? You said
they were older. They were up there in age. Not like you're, I say up there in age because I'm 34, but I mean, no offense to y'all. Like, I'm not knocking your age. Y'all look better than I do at, however old y'all gonna be, whatever. But they were an older couple. They were fighting. They were fighting in a foreign language, but there were some people down on the open deck that could hear her saying, "Help me," in her language. Like, she was saying, "Help me, help me, help me." So what I'm telling you about, I got from my buddy Jay the Ship Life. He put out a video about it today. So if you don't know who Jay the Ship Life is, you can go check his video out. He's got a video on it. It happened on MSC. And the guy that was next door literally climbed over his balcony to pin this dude down because the guy was roughing her up on the balcony. He was getting ready to pick her up and toss her over.
Wow.
So it was definitely insane to watch that little clip of footage of them fighting on the balcony and all that. But
bananas.
What makes you think, like, what do you think would go on in someone's brain to do something like that on a cruise ship?
I would think that he had it planned, man. I would think that, like, that was like, all right, I'm going to say something so crazy and out there that it's going to start a fight. And then my excuse is like, I was defending myself and it was an accident.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll
definitely be on like ID somewhere.
I think this is like some premeditated stuff, bro. Like, and it's sad the way like certain things happen in life, but people that jump, like you're on some hard times. If you're going to jump, you're in a deep, dark place and you've been in that deep, dark place for a while. You know what I mean? So this isn't like you just walked up to the balcony and said, "Oh, I wonder what it's going to be like," and boom. But it's insane to just see like certain things that we enjoy and we try to show people the way we enjoy cruising and all that. And then you get an incident like that happens. Now, I don't know if any of you have been on a cruise where you had like an emergency experience like that. But back in December, when I was on the MSC Meraviglia, we had a man overboard situation at 5 a.m.
It's crazy.
So that's one thing you never really like tend to think of, right? And it's insane that it happens, but
I mean, taking your life by jumping off of a cruise ship or any kind of ship, and it happens almost every underway in the Navy, from what I understand. Like that's really a deep, dark place, because that's not like if you jump off a building or something, and we're getting dark here, but like splat, it's over for the most part, right? Other ways, it's pretty, but you jump off into the water, that's not going to end very fast. Unless you're lucky enough,
Statistics have proven, right? So if you jump off the Golden Gate Bridge, it takes 4 seconds to hit the water at 75 miles per hour. That's the statistics for jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, cruise ships are relatively about the same height. So imagine jumping from the top deck of a cruise ship. You're not falling 75 feet per hour. You're falling maybe 85 feet because you're closer to the water, 95 feet per. It's just insane when you sit there and you think about like numbers in that way. But the thing we can do to help that is like, put out great stuff, right? So when we see things like that happening, let's not, talk about it as much or film it or bring it. We have to bring it to the attention, right? Like it's there. It's inevitable that it's going to have to be talked about. But I don't know, man.
Is it worth the views to be like, hey?
Sad. It's sad to think that people thought this through before they got on the cruise. Like when you're at home thinking about your cruise, you're thinking about how you're going to have a great pub crawl and have this and have that and have a good time. But yet somebody else is thinking how he's going to toss this chick over the ship. Like
it's crazy.
And you don't know what's going on in people's minds, man. It's insane.
I hope that it's not any premeditated thing, but I mean, I've always been under the impression that people did that in the heat of the moment kind of thing.
Like spur of the moment?
Like I feel like there was one story I remember where a guy jumped off, but I think I remember also that he had a really bad night in the casino.
Oh.
And like in the heat of the moment kind of thing, like did something insanely stupid.
Yeah.
It's like that expression about suicide. Suicide's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's like that's something that's near and dear to my heart. And not even kidding, I had to take a suicide awareness training course today. But yeah, I mean, it's 22 veterans a day commit suicide. And that's something that I try to make as many people aware of as possible. And veterans do a good job of pushing it down and hiding it. But I think you get out there in the nothingness of the ocean and you start pondering all of life's questions. And if you're in a little bit of a dark spot anyway, before you go out there, it can just blow
Open it
that
up even more. Yeah, it can open it up even more. But don't forget, people, there is help out there. Like, you are not going through anything alone. So that's why I wanted to close it out that way. There is help out there. I've been in some situations where I thought that was the best way out. And it obviously isn't, because I'm still here with 3 of my beautiful children. So don't ever think that you're alone and you can't get help. 988 on your phone text message. That's the helpline. Shoot that text. There's always somebody there that's going to answer and help you out. So don't ever feel like you're alone, because you're not alone in this great, big, beautiful world that we all live in and share and have.
There's always somebody that cares about you and is dependent on you.
Well, and then I mean, I know we're not really doing the whole comments or whatever, but in response to that first interaction with the couple fighting or whatever, yeah, no, absolutely, people are going to have fights and things like that. But man, I would hope to God that you never went on a cruise thinking like you were going to do something that crazy, throw whoever you went on that cruise with off the ship or whatever. And I mean, like I said, I know in the heat of the moment, things like that, things happen, whatever. Not to excuse it or make it less whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's just
it's just not something you always think about when you're planning your fun vacation. You're not thinking about the worst, right? You're always thinking about what you're going to do, where you're going to go, what you're going to see, how much fun you're going to have, and how much close out your package on.
Can we, like, I know we're already over, but can we end on something a little bit more?
No, man, we're fine. I don't worry about time,
a little bit more positive.
Let's do
it. Yeah.
It's just got depressing and sad all of a sudden.
Celebration Key. Let's talk about Celebration Key before we jump off here. What do y'all think about it?
Listen, 2 million people a year. I think it's going to do some good things. I mean, if you looked at the website, right? Like, so I checked it out on Cruise Hive earlier today, and they have like an aerial image of a mock image of what it's going to look like. They got a big old giant pool, dead snack in the center, man. Like, I'm cool with that. I'm curious if they're going to have water slides.
I'm sure they will.
They're supposed to be trying to compete with Perfect Day at Coco Cay, so we'll see.
I mean, if they're trying to compete with Perfect Day Coco Cay, I think it's going to be a process. Like, I don't think they're going to get there in the first year or whatever that opens up. I think it'll be a type of thing where, like they add a new water slide this year, or like, oh, hey, look what we added to, the Celebration Cay or something like that. But you know what? Honestly, I mean, there's been a lot of criticism about the Bahamas in general as cruise ports compared to traditional Caribbean ports. And I think that's a great strategy to bring on this destination that people can have a lot of fun at in part of the Bahamas. Now, I mean, granted, there's people that love the Bahamas, but there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, you know what? No, we'd rather go to St. Thomas, St. Martin, Cozumel, all these different places like this than we would the Bahamas. But now you add this into the mix, and now all of a sudden this might be a little bit of a game changer for some people, especially if it's a short cruise, if it's a 4-day cruise, if it's a 5-day cruise, and you only have 2 ports, and this is one of the 2 ports. And it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, let's do this. I love this place. So yeah, no, I think it's a great move on Carnival's part, and yeah, that's definitely a great idea.
I think it's smart that they're building dock space for 2 XL class ships at a shot. Like, I think that's a smart thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the problems with Half Moon K, of course, is like having to take the tender and all those kind of things. So they're, removing that, which I enjoy getting. I enjoy the trip on the tender. I don't enjoy loading the tender. But
especially when it's time to make it back to the ship, right? Like nobody wants to do that part.
Yeah.
But that's my thing with them opening Celebration Key. Are they going to get rid of Half Moon? Is that the ultimate goal here, right? Like they build up this private resort type island in Grand Bahama. They get rid of the other one. They open up more space. They put a lot more in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to Half Moon, and will be the first time I've been to Half Moon in a long time next summer, and I'm looking forward to it. But I mean, Half Moon is just a beautiful spot. It's a beautiful beach, but I don't think the island is big enough to harbor a lot of the extracurricular activities that the Celebration K will have in the Bahamas. Right. I think that's the reasoning behind Half Moon K. But I think Half Moon K will still be a destination. I just don't think it will be the destination that it once was. And but it's still going to be a good destination. I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to going to Half Moon K. That's one of my favorite stops that we're going to make when I'm on the Venezia. So
yeah, so I hit it in February. I haven't been. I'm hitting it in February, so I'll see what it's all about. I mean, my whole thing is like it's the Bahamas, right? They just rebuilt up. They just built up Nassau completely from what it was till phenomenal what it is now. I mean, how many? Again, it's like you said, it's the Bahamas. Not for nothing, but Freeport is just like Nassau. Nassau is just like Princess K's. Princess K's is just like, Grand Bahama. It's pretty much all the same at the end of the day, right? But I'm curious if they're going to get rid of it because they have Princess K as part of their private island as well. So it's, Princess Cruise Line's private island, but Carnival goes there.
Yeah,
they literally have port stops at Princess K's. So I'm curious if they're going to get rid of it. And with this being a $200 million investment, do they have the funds to continue to, run Half Moon K on top of this?
Such a beautiful piece of land though to let go.
Right?
Yeah, maybe they lease it out or something. I don't know. Well, hey, gentlemen, again, what a great night, Coach. If you have not subscribed to Coach Cruz, go over and subscribe to his channel, become a Coach Cruiser. You will not regret it. And, I thank you so much. I appreciate your content. It's all very good and appreciate the authenticity that you have. And
well, I appreciate you both as well. Thank you both for having me on the podcast here. This is a cool thing. You're streaming across multiple social media outlets, so that's really cool, and you guys are doing something a little different here. And it was a good time. It was a good time, and I'm glad we ended on a happier note.
But
you know what? It's good when you get on stuff like this. You never know exactly where it's going to go. I mean, you can
it's like a box of chocolates
like that. Well, I mean, I don't regret where we went, because I mean that was a good discussion as well. But it was all good. The whole session was good, and it was good to talk about all of it.
What's great about the open flow format of this is that you just let the conversation go, and you really get some insight into who and what the creators are all about. So absolutely. We definitely appreciate it, Coach. Can't wait to talk to you again. I'm going to go ahead and boot you out of here. And,
all right.
I'm not going to boot you. I'll politely escort
you can boot
out
me.
of the room.
Can the boot have some beer in it? Can the boot have some beer in it?
Yeah, sure.
Can it be a Das Boot?
Sure.
Das Boot.
Das Boot.
I prefer a Das Boot if I'm going to be booted.
There you go. I got this boot. It's for Rosie's boot. Yeah, take it and go.
There you go.
All right. Have a good one, Coach. We appreciate you.
Appreciate.
Oh, I cut him off too quick. I apologize, Coach.
I told you.
Hey, so real quick, again, if you hadn't subscribed, go over and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to Naughty, go subscribe to him.
If you haven't subscribed to Moonlight, go subscribe to him.
Please. Trying to get to 2K by the end of the year. Naughty's trying to do the same thing. So
Yeah,
you
listen,
know,
and I want to make a shameless plug real quick. Like our friends Kurt and Marsha are only like 169 away from
oh
it.
yes,
Pay. So
yeah, you deserve
if
it.
y'all haven't went and subscribed to See Me Traveling, please go and subscribe to them. They are awesome. They are great. They are humble people down to earth. And if you like what we put out here, I'm sure you're going to like them even more because they're not as crazy as we are. We kind of just fly off the handle a little bit at time to time.
We don't care. We're bananas.
That's it, man. Bananas.
Yeah, that's
one of my favorite fruits: pineapples and bananas.
That's like our that's kind of like our Super Troopers thing. You know, how many times can we say bananas during the podcast?
During the podcast, it's bananas.
All right, but hey, so next week is our 4th episode of the podcast, and we have Tyler Ron of the Tyler Show, also known as the Pilot Boat Guy, also known as the Port Guy or something like that. He's got, you know, he specializes in hanging out with these guys that do the pilot boat stuff. Unique perspective on cruising. You're not going to want to miss this one. So it will be September the 4th next week. We will have him here at 9 p.m. Eastern time. 9 p.m. Eastern time. So you're not going to want to miss it. Great young creator with a unique perspective. Naughty, what you got going on, man?
So I just dropped the vlog yesterday. It's called Seattle, baby. Very first vlog in the Alaskan voyage vlog. So it's my day flying to Seattle, exploring Seattle, the Pike Place Market, getting some good food, some local brew. It was absolutely amazing, and it was an awesome day. I was going to include the bath I took in the bathtub, but I did not include that because, you know, I was like, not everybody wants to see Naughty's legs soaking in a bathtub. So, but I got a short drop in either later tonight when I get off of here or tomorrow morning. It's called The Calm Before the Storm. It's literally showing you my neck of the woods before the hurricane hit.
Oh, boy.
Which I can hear outside the window right now.
Crazy.
And I'm surprised my internet held up for as long as it did. So
you might see some bananas flying through the window, man.
That's it, bro. Bananas are everywhere. We got a banana distributor right down the street. This guy buys bananas. That guy buys bananas. Everyone buys bananas.
I saw that.
Them, so.
I heard there's a guy that, like, for $19.99 you can buy like 2,500 bananas.
Yeah, dirt cheap, bro. That's cheap.
Crazy. That's just crazy.
Dirt cheap. Some of them are those little mini bananas you can get every now and then.
Oh, yeah, man. Yo, I'll get you some bananas.
That's it, bro.
So anyway, hey,
that's it, man. I got nothing else coming up.
Great time. Wonderful, awesome time again. Check us out around YouTube. Be sure and follow us on Spotify. We are the Peer-to-Peer Travel Chats, and we are out.
Peace.